Hello soulmates, welcome back to my channel. This is Soul with Pivots. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, share it and like it, okay? Turn on your notification bell. So today we're going to be learning how to make this top and this short for an 8-year-old. And to make this, I made use of 1 yard for the top and about half yard for the short. Thank you. Let's get sewing. So my fabric is folded into 4. We are cutting the top first of all. Her top length is 19 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that's 20 inches. Her shoulder is 13 divided by 2 is 6.5, but I use 6 inches. I deducted half inch since it's a sleeveless dress. For the armhole, I use 6 inches for her armhole measurement. So I'll roll a straight line and then I'll connect it. Next is our chest measurement. Her chest measurement is 30 divided by 4, which is 7.5 inches. So I went ahead and added 1.5 inches for ease and seam allowance. So we have 9 inches. I will mark it out. Next is our hips measurement. Her hips measurement is 32 divided by 4 is 8.5. So I added 1.5 inches and we have what, 10 inches. So I will chalk it out and then we connect it to the chest line. So this is it. Then on this hemline, I'll take out half inch and then just connect it back just a little. Now I'll also connect my armhole. Now to our neck measurement. The neck width we are working with is 2.5. While for the back neck depth I used 1.5, and then for the front neck depth I used 3.5 inches. So I will try and connect that front neckline to form a kind of sweetheart. Even though mine didn't come out the way I wanted, I think I will do so later. So you just connect it to form a sweetheart neckline for the front. And then we go ahead and cut. Okay, so we take out the back and then cut our front neckline, and then this is what we have. And this is the back. So this is it. So I think I'll retake my front to reconnect it again. So now this is my front. I want to reconnect it to form my sweetheart neckline very well. So this is me trying to reconnect my neckline and then I'll cut it out. Now for us to cut our frills, we'll get a piece of fabric. Now this is on fold, 22 inches by 22 inches on all sides. It's on fold. I'll take this open edge and then form a triangle to meet this side, so you can see it. This is me trying to arrange it. So the next thing, I'm going to mark 21 inches, just like we mark when we want to cut our flip. So from the top I'll mark 21 inches. From the top I'll just be taking it round and then I'll get my 21 inches all through and then I'll connect it. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to mark out 4.5 inches. So this is going to form that first layer. Remember, we have 2 layers for the frills, the long one and the short one. So this my 4.5 is going to serve as the long one. So I'm going to cut it out. Then for my second frill, I'll still be cutting it out from here. So now from this remaining one, I'll come up by 3.5 or 4 inches. I use 3.5 inches. So I'll just connect it like this, and then I'll also cut it out. And this is what we have. So I went ahead to join two of them together to form one piece, and you can see there's an essence. Definitely the longer one is a bit longer, so I cut it out, and this is what we have. So you can go ahead and fold this edge. If you are folding it, fold it individually. Fold the longer one separately, the shorter one separately. So you also do so for the two sides, but I think I'll prefer to weave it after sewing. So that's why I left mine. Then back to our front bodies, I'm trying to mark out the center of our neckline. So I'm trying to mark it out. Then I'll bring that frill that we joined as one piece. So we're going to be fixing it on the neckline. Please, when you are fixing it on that shoulder point, just leave like ½ inch for joining the shoulder. So you're going to sew from there to that mid point, and then cut off the excess. So let me go and do it. So this is it. You can see I have sewn it, then I went ahead to cut off what is remaining, and this is what is left. I'll place it also on the other neckline to meet that midpoint. We're sewing it from there to the midpoint, just like we did for this first one. Let me do it and show you. And this is what we have. So after doing so, we're going to flip it over, like we're using it to turn the neckline. Sorry, I missed some clips. I don't know what happened. I missed some clips. So we'll turn it over, and then this is it. You can see we have used it to turn the neckline, but we've turned it over from the back to the front, and this is what we have. So I'm trying to hold that frills down. Then you can see it's still the same thing that we are working on. So we want to finish up that frills. So I'm trying to make sure it's relaxing. So if there's any excess, I'll cut it off. You can see there's a little excess there, so I'll just cut it off so that it will align. I'll cut it off. Then we continue with our neckline. So I'll sew it from here up to this point. Now from that your armhole measurement, you can just come down by 2 inches for you to know where it will stop, where you stop sewing your frills. So this is what we have after sewing. So this is it. You can see it. I sewed from here up to under my armhole. I came down by 2 inches. That's where I want it to stop, and this is what we have. So we'll cut off the remaining excess. Definitely we don't need it, so we'll cut it out. Okay, so I'm removing the pins, and this is what we have for the front. So the next thing I'll do is to finish up the back neckline with a bias strip, and this is what we have. This is what we have after sewing it with a bias strip. So I'm going to get my front bodies, and then I'll match it up to these my back bodies, and I'll join the shoulders. Mind you, I didn't attach the frills while joining my shoulders. Then after doing so, I'll still go ahead and finish up my armhole, and this is what we have. Let me turn it over. So this is what we have after joining our shoulder, and then I finished up my armhole with a bias strip. You can see my frills is separate from the bodies. So but you can decide to join yours if you want. So this is what I have. So like I told you, I'll be weaving those edges. So this is it. You can see the edges. You can see it is out. So that is it. Then next we'll go ahead and sew and join our sides. So I'll be sewing on 1 inch allowance, and this is what we have. So go ahead and hem the bottom, and we are simply done with our top. So this is the finished look. Go ahead and iron it, and then you weave where you are supposed to weave. So this is what we have. Like I said earlier, we're going to be weaving these parts. I'll weave that edge and also weave the body of the frills. So you can go ahead and stitch here a little to hold it in place if you feel it to be falling out. And this is what we have. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. Okay, let's continue. Now over to the cutting of the shorts. Our fabric is on fold and I left like ½ inch up for allowance. Now the length of our short is 14 inches, so I'll mark it out. This 14 inches, then we are left with 1.5 inches. So that is what the remaining 1.5 inches is what we'll be using for our hemming allowance. Next is her crouch depth. Now for her crouch depth, I'm using 10 inches. So basically how I get my crouch depth for children, like her hips divided by 4, hers is 32, divided by 4 is 8.5. Then I'll go ahead and add 1.5 or at most 2 inches. So that is how I got my 10 inches. You know, she's a child, we don't want it tight on the hips region. So that's how I got my crouch depth. Now I'll come and place my hips measurement on that line. Like I told you, her hips measurement is 8.5. So we'll also place the same hips measurement here, 8.5. So I'll mark it out. Then we connect it to a straight line. Okay, next is our crouch extension. So I'll be taking 2 inches for her crouch extension. So this is me marking it out, and then I'll curve it to meet this our line. So the next thing I'll be doing is to work on the bottom of the short, and then I'll be placing 8 inches on that on that bottom part. I'll place 8 inches like this. You know, this is our bottom line. Then I'll go ahead and fold in. That's my allowance. Let me fold it in. Then before I connect, let me fold it. So I'll fold it in so that I can get that part accurately. Now that I've folded it in, I'll go ahead and connect my bottom part to that my crouch line. And then after doing this, we go ahead and cut. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. This is the front short block we are cutting. So we'll definitely be using this to cut the back. Our front and our back, they are not the same. So that's why I cut off the front first of all. Now we want to cut out our back, and we have this piece that is on fold. So I placed my front bodies on the piece, then I'm trying to adjust it. Mind you, I left space above it, you can see. So I did that on the back bodies, you can see. So just watch carefully and see what I will do. So I just folded my hemming allowance for the bottom. Now on this crouched line, I'll be adding 2 inches. I extended it by 2 inches for the back. So let me just draw my crouch line. This is my crouch line, and this is the 2 inches. Now every other place I'll be adding just 1 inch. You can see me adding 1 inch on the waist. So I'll just add 1 inch all through. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Then on this bottom I'll also add 1 inch. So after marking it out, I'll go ahead and connect those my new points. I'll connect them together up to the waist point. So this is it. So now we want to work on our back waist line. So let me connect the normal waist first of all. So this is it. Now our back waist is higher than our front waist because of the bum at the back. Therefore I'll be coming up by 1.5 inches. That's on that crowd side. I'll be coming up by 1.5 inches, and I'll connect it back to the waistline. So this is my 1.5 inches. I'll connect it back to meet that front waistline like this. Now that is the first thing we are doing up. So secondly, I'm still going to work on that upper side. Now mind you, this our short will be having an elastic at the back, and I'm not cutting a separate band for it. The band is cut together. So I'll come up again by 1.5 inch. This time around, the 1.5 inch will go all through. You can see me marking out 1.5, 1.5, then 1.5. So I'm going to be connecting it. So this won't form a straight line. It's going to be a kind of slanted line. So, and this is what I have. So this is it. So I'll just connect it straight here. So I'll turn it over so that you have a better view of what it looks like from the side. Let me turn it over. So you can see what I was talking about. You can see that 1.5 inch extension that we connected to the waistline back. Then this is our band for our elastic. We added 1.5 inches. So that is it. So we'll go ahead and cut. And I'll open up the sides. So I'm notching my elastic point. And this is what we have. Mind you, only the back has an elastic, the front is a normal waistline. So this is what we have. This is our front block. So we're going to go ahead and sew the crouch area from here to this point. We do so for the front, and then we'll also do so for the back. We sew from the waist up to the crouch. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to work on that flap at the front. Now we have 2 pieces of this, and then the width of this fabric is 10 inches, while the length of that flap is going to be 5 inches. Mind you, I have 2 pieces of this. Now this is for 1. Now we have 2 flap, remember. Now for the second smaller flap, I have 2 pieces of this, and the width of this one is 5 inches, while the length is 4.5 inches. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark out 3 inches. I'll go up by 3 inches here. I'll also go up by 3 inches on the other side. I'll do same for this one. That's go up by 3 inches and then go up by 3 inches. So I'll be placing it on each other so that you can see that basically we have the same points. So you can see it, we have the same points. You can see it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing on that smaller flap, we're going to come in by 3 inches. So we'll be doing so on both anyway. So I'll mark it out on this smaller flap, and then I'll also mark it out on the bigger flap. So I'll mark out 3 inches. So I'm going to connect it. I'll connect it to this point and then connect it to the other point, and then I'll also do so for the smaller flap. So I'll go ahead and cut. So I'll now go ahead and sew the sides. I'll sew from here to here to here to this side. I will leave just that upper part open. So I'll do the same thing here. Sew side here, here, and then here. So we'll be leaving that upper part open. That's where we'll be turning it out from. And then this is what we have. We are done sewing it, so I'm just basically trying to notch it so that it will relax. So I'll notch the 2 points and then we turn it over. So while turning it over, I'm going to be using my scissors to bring out those points, and then I'll do same to this one, and then we go ahead and give it a press. So we'll keep it aside. Now I've brought back my front block, so you can see the crouch. I'm already done with the crouch, you can see it. So now from that crouch part, I'm going to impute your exact waist measurement divided by 4. So here I use 6. You use your waist measurement divided by 4. You impute it here and then you connect it to that bottom. You know, just want it to have a little kind of A-line look. So that's basically how we're doing so. Mind you, I'm doing so to only the front block. So this is what we have. So let me open it up. So this is what it is looking like. You can see it. So now we're going to go ahead to finish up the waistline of the front. I will be doing so using our so this is the flap. We already ironed it out. So and this is our front. So we turned it back. This is the back. We'll be sewing it from the back and then turning it over to the front. Now from this center, I'm going to be marking out like 3 inches. Like 3 inches. Then I'm going to bring in this flap and then place it like this. But I made a little mistake here. This flap I was supposed to turn it like that pointed edge was not supposed to be facing that middle. It was supposed to be on the other side. So pardon me. But I later corrected it. I actually noticed it when I was when I wanted to fix the button. Then you put the small one and then you sew. Mind you, the longer one first of all, then the shorter one, and then we have sewn it, and this is what we have. So I'm going to turn it over. You can see we're using it to finish up that waistline. I'll turn it over and this is what we have. So we'll go ahead and give it a press so that it will relax at that point. So I'll be cutting off the excess we have. You can see we have a little excess, so I'll just cut it off. So I'm going to be keeping this front block aside. Over to the back block, you can see we've joined the crouch, and then you can see I went ahead to iron that my band position. I ironed it so that the line will show. You can see it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it ½ inch, then fold it again by 1 inch, and then we're going to sew. So we'll be passing elastic through this place, you understand? And this is the elastic I'll be using. This is a 1 inch elastic, and then the length of my elastic is 9 inches. So that's what I'll be passing through my band casing. So this is what I have. You can see I'm done passing my elastic, and you can see how it gathered the back. So you can see it's actually looking beautiful. So now we're going to bring our front block and we place it on the back block. So we match it together and then we sew. We're going to sew by ½ inch. Sew the two sides by ½ inch. So this is what we have. We are done sewing the sides by ½ inch. So So next we're going to be sewing that crouch part. So sew here by ½ inch also, so from this end to the other end. So this is what we have after sewing. Let me turn it over so that you're going to see the beauty we just created. Let me turn it over, and this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and finish up the bottom of this my shorts. Mind you, you use the hemming allowance you left. So I left 1.5 inch, so I'll fold it in by 1.5 inch, and then you sew, or you use hemming gun, whichever one suits you. And this is the result I went ahead to sew. Please give it a good press so that it just be even. So, and this is what we have. So we're going to bring our button, and then we fix one here. I'll fix another one at this tip, and then another one above. So it was at this point I discovered my flap was supposed to be the other way, so I went ahead to correct it, and this is what we have. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.